Is it okay to eat 1 cup of rice in low carb, given that 1 cup of rice is less than 50 grams of net carbs? And in low carb, we actually limit our carbohydrate intake to no more than 50 grams in a day. So, since this 1 cup of rice is only about 45 grams, is it okay then to eat it when you are on low carb, especially eat it in one sitting? So, that is what we will discuss today. And to understand better the answer to that, we will go through one by one what is rice and why do we need to lower it. If you are not a rice eater, you can also equate this to 2 slices of bread or one big bread or a serving of mashed potato or oatmeal, other grains like, say, for example, wheat and other starch. So, all of those can be equated to about a cup of rice. So, is it okay to eat 1 cup of rice? First and foremost, we have to understand that rice is a starch. So, what is a starch? Starch is a complex carbohydrate that becomes glucose the moment it enters our body when it is already broken down. So, how many glucose or net carbohydrates per cup of rice per this one? So, 1 cup of rice actually has about 40 to 45 grams of net carbohydrate. Now, why are we talking about net carbohydrates? Because net carbohydrates is the one that will impact our blood sugar and at the same time impact our insulin level in the body. And to put it into perspective, table sugar is made of sucrose, which is a combination of glucose and fructose. And again, going back, rice is actually composed of eventually glucose. So for the table sugar, each teaspoon, so just 1 teaspoon of sugar already has 4 grams of net carbohydrates. So if we compare this one with the net carbs in the rice, it will actually give you 10 teaspoons of white sugar equivalent when it comes to 1 cup of rice. I would like to show you 10 teaspoons of sugar. I just don't have it here. And this rice is just a free rice for the chicken meal that we purchase. And usually I don't take it, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I have this one in handy here. So a cup of this one is actually equal to 10 teaspoons of white sugar. So now, since low carb way of eating, you can consume up to 50 grams of net carbs in a day. So if ever you will consume that in one sitting, what will happen? Know that per gram of carbohydrates can actually raise your blood sugar by 3 to 4 milligrams per DL. And what does that mean? Say, for example, that your normal fasting blood sugar is less than 100 milligrams per DL, which is normal. And of course, it is higher if you have insulin resistance, if you have diabetes. So, if you will eat a cup of rice with about 40 grams on the lower end, say, for example, it is a black rice or brown rice or rice that has a lot of fiber in it, it has the lower end of around 40, whereas white rice can range up to 45 to 50 gram per cup. So we will take conservative computation. So 40 grams of net carbs per cup of rice, multiply that by the lower end of how each carbohydrate can raise our blood sugar. So times 3, that would lead you to 120 milligrams per DL. And then you add that to your fasting blood sugar of 100, your blood sugar can actually rise up to 220 milligrams per DL per cup of rice. And that is already too high because our random blood sugar postprandial shouldn't be beyond 200. So imagine if you are consuming even 2 cups of rice, or if you consume this rice together with a soft drinks or another dessert that is also loaded with sugar. So that is already too much. So the answer to your question, if ever you really want to eat a cup of rice in a day, you may do so if you really want. Of course, considering all of these factors that it can actually raise your blood sugar, but as a reminder, if ever you decide to consume your cup of rice in your low carb lifestyle, you can divide it as much as possible, not in one sitting. You can divide it in 2 or 3 meals so that whenever you eat, you can just consume 10 maximum of 20 gram of net carbs per meal at most, so that your blood sugar after eating shouldn't spike up beyond 200. But for our goal, especially if you are serious with low carb, we want our blood sugar to be not more than 130 milligrams per DL even after eating. So usually we consume just around 5 or even 0 grams of carbohydrates when we eat, because the more insulin resistant you are, then the higher is your blood sugar response and the longer it will take for it to lower down. So if you are insulin resistant, if you are still battling diabetes, you're still starting up with low carb, all the more that you should lower your carb intake the most. And of course, do it with guidance. That's why all of these learnings are already available in our LCF Masterclass for diabetes and other diseases, for you to understand well the impact of net carbs in your day-to-day meals. So if ever, and I hope you do, you choose not to consume your carbs from rice, what are your options? So imagine if you are just looking for a filling effect, that you just want to feel full, then you can actually have other as an alternative. So just half a cup of this one, just half cup of rice will actually have the same net carbs as around 2 bowls of this lettuce. So this lettuce only has less than 50 grams. So because per 100 grams of lettuce will have only 3 grams of net. So if this is 500 grams or half kilo, this will only give you 15 grams of net carbs. And I don't think anybody can finish this, especially that we advise for you to finish your proteins and fats first before you consume any of these ones, because you need proteins and healthy fats for your calorie needs and for your nutritional needs. Save the vegetables at the last part of your meal. So this is the reason why, even if generally by number initially it's okay to eat 1 cup of rice in low carb, but if you will look at the impact of a cup of rice in your blood sugar, then I don't think you would agree that you will eat a cup of rice in a day in one sitting when it comes to low carb lifestyle. So that's just a little of our lesson for today, and I hope you will learn more. You can join our LCF Masterclass by yours truly, Diet Doctora, Dr. Josephine Grace Rohatan. It is now available in our website, still in Filipino, but hopefully soon it will be available in international English version. lcfmasterclass.com. And for more information, you can also log into jgrtanmd.com. So that's it for today. That's our answer to the question if it's okay to eat 1 cup of rice in low carb. Thank you so much, guys. Always remember to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Till our next video. Bye.